And now, here on BBC Radio 4, this afternoon's play. The year is 1848, and Chopin makes the journey to Scotland.
A Rose for Chopin by Lorraine McCann.
So I told Miss Sterling to tell the man if he can get me 3 or preferably 2 big concerts at good houses, well, then I'm sure we can do business.
That's good news.
There are bound to be some good houses in Scotland, eh, Daniel?
Big cities everywhere have cultured people, sir.
Oh, yes.
Even London.
Not that we met any.
Here, take my blanket, sir.
No, I'm fine. Oh, and Miss Sterling told me the tickets might be half a guinea.
Each?
Each and every one.
Mother of God.
You see now why it's such a good idea to come here. Out of that abyss and into this beautiful countryside. And look at our hosts. They're cultured and generous. What more could a man want?
I'm sure you're right, sir.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I know that look. Spit it out.
It's nothing, sir, except...
Half a guinea. In a 500-seat house. Now, that's...
But you don't even know Lord Torfechan, and if he's anything like his sisters...
His sisters?
Miss Sterling and Mrs. Erskine?
Oh, no, that's not it. He was married to their elder sister, but I believe she died some time ago.
And they all lived together.
They say Calder House is very large.
Sure it must be.
Well, look at these grounds, So many shades of green. You know, I grew up in a place that looks like this.
So did I, sir.
I wonder what it's like to be in Poland right now.
Well, I don't know, sir, but you're definitely better off here.
Yes. Of course we are.
What are you reading, James?
Same as when you asked me 3 minutes ago. Why don't you play your sister at cards?
I suppose I could. Catherine?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jane. I really must finish these letters. If you're bored, why don't you take that chair apart and stop it squeaking?
Oh, really? Don't you think they should be here by now?
Not especially.
Not even 8 o'clock, my dear.
Oh, that clock's never been right. They could have had an accident.
Very well, then. Work yourself into a fit, if you must.
And don't malign that clock. My dear late wife and I brought that back from Rome. Or was it Naples? No, it was Rome. Definitely Rome. That's right. It was 1829. Just come out of the hotel and we'll straight down the street.
Look, Daniel. Orange cows with long hair and horns. Oh, this sort of thing will inspire my letters for weeks. Of course, no one will write back to me. Do you know I wrote to Francois more than 2 weeks ago to tell him about my playing in front of the Queen, and I am still waiting for a reply. I tell all my friends about all my projects, and they get up in the morning and go to bed at night without a single thought of me passing through their heads.
Sir, you've had letters every day since we left Paris.
Ah, but who from? Business associates and gossips.
If you want to see it that way.
Well, what else would you call them? All I ever hear is that my publisher has discovered a new way to rob me, or that Madame Sand has found a new way to forget me.
Maybe you should set Miss Sterling on them.
Oh, please. Just the thought of it.
I'm sure she'd stick up for you.
I'm sure you're right. But I'm not going to dwell on past troubles, Daniel. I'm going to dive into the present, into these beautiful grounds.
Do you think you'll have time for that?
I've only got to plan a few concerts and fulfill 1 or 2 social obligations.
Give a few lessons and entertain some house guests.
Answer my post and keep an eye on Paris.
You can only do what your health will allow.
Thank heavens you dress me.
Have they lit the fires in his room? He cannot sleep in a damp room.
The fires are lit.
Both of them? Then I must make sure they're burning well.
Poor fellow will end up toasted alive.
He must have everything the way he likes it,
James.
Oh, quite.
Never mind the effect on our staff. What does that mean? I saw the list of instructions you left Cook this morning. She was quite offended by some of them.
Oh, Jane, you haven't upset my dear cook.
I was not trying to upset her. I simply gave her advice on how to prepare drinking chocolate.
Honestly, any idiot can boil a pan of water.
Indeed they can. My instructions were for her to simmer.
Is that how the French do it?
Oh, yes. But Chopin is even more particular. His drink must first be sweetened, and then he...
Jane, dear, you're standing in my light.
Oh, really?
Is the old thing all right?
Oh, yes. Just excited.
Excited, eh? Isn't she a bit...
Of course she is. If she were 10 years younger, it would still be inappropriate.
Maybe we'd better keep an eye on it.
Oh, I am.
Mother of God.
Do you think we'll be comfortable enough here, Daniel?
Oh, there's a welcome party too, sir.
It's Miss Sterling. Give her away, would you? That's it.
Right here, driver. Stop.
Right, take my blanket and stay in here till I come round for you.
Miss Sterling!
Chopin, thank God you're here. I had begun to think you had met with some misfortune.
Are we late?
No, of course not.
Excuse me, Mum.
Daniel, help your master down at once.
Mum?
Oh, Chopin, you have no idea how much we've been looking forward to your arrival. My brother-in-law is beside himself.
Beside himself?
Out of his mind, sir.
Eager to meet you.
Excellent. Thank you, Daniel.
Oh, my dear, dear Chopin. To see you standing here in front of my family home. It's a miracle. You are most welcome to Calder House.
Thank you, dear lady.
Mum, where shall I take my master's trunk?
Oh, one of the servants will show you.
Thank you, Mum.
And be sure to wipe your feet. Now, let me tell you about the piano I've had brought in for our lessons together. Would you like to play something now?
I'd rather listen to him.
The Blackbird?
Daniel has been telling me their names for weeks, but I can't seem to remember them. Won't you continue?
No, I can see your mind is on other things.
Forgive me. The news this morning has left me a little shaken.
Oh, you know what newspapers are like. As we say in this country, you must take everything they write with a pinch of salt.
My dear lady, they say my homeland is being torn apart.
But I thought you'd had word your family was safe.
For now, yes. But the scale of the problem is growing, not diminishing. I had a letter yesterday from London telling me the place is awash with refugees.
Yes, that is bad.
It makes one feel quite helpless sometimes.
Oh, look, let's cheer ourselves up. Why don't you tell me the programme for your concert in Manchester?
I'd love to, but I haven't chosen it yet. Anyway, I'd much rather listen to your fine playing.
Oh, Frederick.
What?
You think my playing is fine?
Would I have taught you these 9 years if I didn't? The fact is, I cannot think of any other student whose playing is so enjoyable. If we could get away with it, I would ask you to play these wretched concerts for me.
Oh, my goodness, what a thought.
Indeed. Now, what are you going to play for me?
What would you like?
How about something Polish? The Polonaise in A major?
Oh, how extraordinary. I have been practicing that piece like mad in preparation for my aunt's visit.
Oh, really? And when is your aunt coming?
Aunts, plural. 7 of them for tea tomorrow afternoon. The other 3 we shall see in a fortnight's time at Lady Murray's. Oh, Chopin, you are bound to be charmed by Aunt Elizabeth. She can play Bach on the accordion.
How unusual.
There's scarcely a household of any quality in this country that has not heard of her.
I shall look forward to it. Now, Miss Sterling, some Polish music for an exile among friends. Oh, dear God. Not another encore. There is nothing... I have nothing left. Hold on, you fool. You must hold on. Stand and take your acclaim. And think of the money. There is no other way. Stand like a man, Frederick, and think of the money.
The money you sent has secured your apartment for a further 2 months, right when you have time. And you signed it, your most affectionate Franchomme. Oh, sounds like things are going quite well there, sir. They'll be welcoming you back to Paris in no time.
In a coffin, you mean?
Ah, come on now.
Daniel, I will thank you not to address me as though I were a 5-year-old turning his nose up at a rice pudding.
Sir?
You must forgive my mood. Taking that freezing night train from Manchester and then sitting 5 nights in a row at the same dinner table as Lord Torphichen and 16 of his very best friends and their cigars has robbed me of my usual resilience.
Well, at least you got out of the visit to Lady Murray's today.
Yes, that's true. But then if I didn't need to recover for the Glasgow concert, I doubt I'd have won such a reprieve. It's almost as if a law has been passed denying me a moment's peace as long as blood moves through Miss Sterling's veins.
But Lady Murray didn't say that.
Oh, no, I have invoked her again.
Tell him anyway.
Tell me what, ladies?
Oh, Chopin, there you are. Good afternoon.
Miss Sterling. How nice to see you, Mrs. Erskine.
Good afternoon, Monsieur Chopin.
Daniel.
Mum?
Chopin, what my sister is unaccountably trying to prevent me telling you is that Lady Murray has promised to buy 100 tickets for your Edinburgh concert.
Jane, you
Isn't that marvellous?
What Edinburgh concert?
I knew it.
It's a farce.
I hope you're not going to pretend that you have no plans for a concert in Edinburgh. I spoke to your promoter only the other day and he said you'd agreed.
I said I would think about it. But even you cannot sell tickets to watch me think. In any case, I am quite preoccupied with Glasgow. Several friends say they hope to come up from London to see me there.
Of course, but quite so. And Jane, if Monsieur Chopin does give a concert in the capital, I'm sure he will want to attract an audience on his own merits rather than by patronage and favour.
But that's just it, you see. Lady Murray knows how much demand there will be once the date is announced and is determined not to miss out.
Although all she actually said was that if there were to be a concert, she should be delighted to tell a great many of her friends.
By which she meant 100.
Oh, how on earth
You don't know
do you
her
know
as I
that?
do.
Ladies, I think...
Chopin, you must play in Edinburgh, I beg you.
Jane.
Your promoter has had the typeset for the handbills.
Has he? Well, then I know how to settle this. Daniel, fetch me a pen and some paper.
Right you are, sir.
Now, when he gets back, I shall write to my promoter and ask him what I have decided.
Oh, Frederick, seeing you is almost like seeing Poland again.
Likewise, my dear, likewise.
Is there a drink for me somewhere?
After the concert. And you will all dine with me, I insist.
Typical Frederick.
All of us.
You haven't changed a bit.
Remember those suppers in Vienna? No wonder his shoe leather was thin.
Well, it's not thin now, and you will dine with me. How often does a man in exile get to see so many of his heart's most cherished friends?
Not often enough in these miserable times.
So, it's settled. The poor, helpless refugees will dine with a rich and famous composer. And now I must go. Daniel.
They're ready when you are, sir.
Good luck, Frederick.
Thank you. Now, take your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Frederick Chopin!
God, I am so weak. So weak. No more. Oh, my God. Daniel.
I've got you, sir. I've got you.
A drink.
Sit down first.
No, they mustn't see.
Right, sir. Come back this way. Hold the curtain.
Where are my friends?
In their seats, I think. Here. I think they'd like you back, sir.
No. Tell them no.
Oh, mother of
Monsieur!
God.
What about an encore, sir?
My master has played his programme for tonight.
They want more.
With respect, sir, they have had what they paid for.
Is he all right?
He'll be fine.
But most people give an encore, sir.
Yes, but perhaps if you told them there is to be another concert in Edinburgh, tell them they are the first to know.
Oh, I see. All right then. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Let's get you out of here.
That's a good shot straight into the flower bed.
Following his triumph in Glasgow, it will gratify Edinburgh's admirers of musical talent to know that Monsieur Chopin is one of the most eminent composers and pianists of the day. And during his stay in Scotland, he's been the honoured guest of some of our most distinguished nobility, who have vied with each other in showing respect to his unrivalled genius.
Oh.
It goes on. No description can convey an idea of the exquisite beauty of his touch, or the effect which he produces on his audience.
Miss Sterling.
In his hands, the piano may be almost said to become a new instrument, and its tones softened and mellowed to a degree which no one can conceive.
Oh, dear God, that's enough. If I wish to indulge myself in fiction, I will go straight to your brother-in-law's library.
You really are too modest.
And that promoter is not modest enough.
Is Catherine winning again? I wish I had her talent for games.
Miss Sterling,
Oh, it's Daniel.
I was sent by the cook, ma'am. She needs you in the kitchen.
Oh, bother. And we were just about to go inside and start my lesson. Chopin, do you mind?
No.
I will hurry back. Oh, and Daniel.
Ma'am?
We do not allow servants to wear their shirts undone about the house or grounds.
Beg your pardon, ma'am.
Well, see to it.
Better do myself up then, eh?
No, you will not.
I'd rather keep the peace.
Then come here and sit down.
Yes, sir. You've quite a bit of post, sir. I left it
What
over...
have I done to deserve this, Daniel?
Sir?
Am I paying for something? Has Miss Sterling been assigned by some malevolent force to torment and harass me until I surrender and become one with her?
You knew what she was like, sir.
She calls herself my friend. But the last thing one wants from a friend is adoration. And that advertisement, what is the man thinking of? I confided in him, Daniel. I told him how difficult performing is for me, how near to collapse I was in Manchester. Glasgow was even worse. But the way he has it, people will come expecting something divine and see a broken old ghost.
I'm sure people...
Not that any of that occurs to Miss Sterling. No, she is not a friend, and I am a fool for believing I could accept her hospitality and not pay the price.
Here, sir. You know, back home we have a saying, if you're going to sup with the devil, be sure and use a long spoon.
Yes. Maybe I was too eager to run away from Paris. Madame Sand. Maybe I'm a coward as well as a fool.
No one thinks that of you.
I can't do anything about it anyway. If only I could understand these people. Well, come on then, Daniel. Yes. Is there a letter from Franchomme?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then between Miss Sterling's piano lesson and Lord Torficken's dinner party, I shall write him a brief, miserable reply. Dear Franchomme, I am very disturbed to hear that you are leaving Paris for London, and wonder in whose hands you will be leaving my affairs. The last thing I need is to make good my escape from here, only to find I have no apartment, no staff, no doctors, and no friends left at home. As for the little scrap you scribbled on the end of your note, I am almost lost for words. Do you forget me, my old friend? I understand that time and distance can stretch familiarity, but to tell me that you have heard I am to be married... The truth is that I am closer to a coffin than to a marriage bed. In fact, as I could not sleep last night, I wrote out a kind of instruction for the disposal of my things if I should peg out here. No, Miss Sterling and I are very far from marriage, though I fear she might suffocate me with kindness, and I, out of politeness, will not refuse to let her do it. Perhaps that is what has given someone the idea. But surely there must be some sort of physical attraction, and Miss Sterling is far too much like me. How can one kiss oneself?
But then Albert just said, "Stick it in the bag, James, and we'll say no more about it." What a good sport, eh? Well, I believe you met them down South Chopin.
Yes. I was honoured to play for Her Majesty as a guest of the Duchess of Sutherland.
Ah, the Sutherlands. I used to go guddling up there as a boy. I say, you want to watch that chest? Where's your men? Ah, you! Why don't you help your master out onto the veranda for a breather?
Sir?
Yes, Daniel, please.
Right you are, sir.
I'm very sorry, Lord Torficken.
Nonsense. No need to come back if you don't feel up to it. We can make our own entertainment, eh, boys?
Please forgive me, gentlemen.
Sure they could make kippers in that room.
Oh, dear God. Why, they're not all dead by now.
They must be pickled on the inside. I should have got some water.
Have you no hip flask tonight?
Oh, I've always got that.
That's better. Salut.
Cheers. Take my jacket as well, sir.
Oh, no, I'll be fine.
Stuff it in your ears, then.
Oh, no. I like this one. Lord Torficken taught me it the other day.
Never would have taken him for a Jacobite.
I suspect he simply likes the tune. You know, I'm supposed to have decided my Edinburgh programme by now. Of course, the real problem is that there's so little of my work left that I can play. Well, anything strenuous is out. I learned that finally at Glasgow. Anything too delicate just doesn't carry.
An evening of beautiful waltzes it is, then.
Yeah.
I haven't heard singing like that since the last time I was home. Different songs, of course.
Do you miss Ireland?
I've had a much better life away from it, sir.
I think Poles and Irishmen must have a lot in common.
Shall we go back inside, sir? It's a nice clear sky, but...
Cold. Good chance of sunshine tomorrow.
If there is, I thought I might ask for the afternoon off, sir. One of the stable lads was telling me there's a cracking ride down by the water and...
Really? A carriage ride?
Well, I don't know. They said I could take a horse, but maybe a carriage can get down there too. I'll ask, shall I?
Yes, you shall. And if it's no good for a carriage, you shall drag me along the ground behind your horse.
What about Miss Sterling?
Oh, yes, you're right. Let's drag her first.
You know what I mean. Doesn't she have visitors or something?
Of course she does. Including the Bach-playing accordionist. But the thing is, Daniel, my health is not at its best, and sometimes... Well, sometimes I forget things.
Follow the voice of Bonnie Dundee!
Yes, Aunt Elizabeth, I'll mention that to cook straight away. Catherine, what is it? Oh, you look white as a sheet. Chopin is missing. Oh, dear. Daniel, too. Have you seen them?
No, but I'm sure they'll turn up.
Aunt Elizabeth is getting exasperated. You go and talk to the servants while I try to keep her occupied.
Oh, Jane, I do sympathize.
Please, Catherine.
What a day for a drive.
Shame about the road. Oh! Driver, are you trying to hit those critters?
I'm doing my best, son. It's not really meant for carriages.
Well, slow down then. You all right there, sir?
Never felt better. Oh!
Sit right back.
Oh.
I said slow down, will you?
Aye, I heard you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your patience. I really cannot imagine what has detained Monsieur Chopin. He has the very finest manners and is normally the model of punctuality. In Paris, we all used to set our clocks by him. I cannot remember him ever being late. Indeed, it was more often I who kept him waiting. Not that I did so very often, of course. No, that would have been intolerable. Perhaps I did once. Perhaps he is taking his revenge. Oh. Another scone, Aunt Elizabeth.
Perhaps it's time we turned round. My conscience is getting the better of me.
Right, sir. Are we on the home straight yet?
Right, the house is just through these trees.
Whoa there! What's wrong?
She's got herself caught in the reins. Whoa there!
Oh, my God!
Look out!
Daniel!
The trees! Sir! Oh, no. Sir, can you hear me? Oh, no.
Oh, James, how is he?
Fine, my dear. Walking wounded, that's all.
Is Chopin awake?
Well,
I'm sure Daniel will see to his needs.
Oh, quite. Well, I think I'll take a bit of a stroll for dinner. Anyone care to...
No, thank you, James.
Righto.
I think I'll just pop up and...
No, you will not.
I beg your pardon.
You will sit down and preserve what is left of your reputation.
My reputation?
Sister, there is a limit to how long and how publicly a woman of any age can throw herself at a man without seeming to be either a voluptuary or a fool. You will listen to this, Jane.
I will not.
Yes, you will. And I told you to sit down. Now, do you know why Chopin went on that carriage ride today?
Of course I do.
Really?
Isn't it obvious? Daniel tricked him into it.
No, Jane.
It's true.
He's a lazy, insolent liar who doesn't want Chopin to stay here because he knows he would very soon be out of a job. My dear sister, I am afraid you are very wide of the mark.
What do you mean?
Jane, Chopin is avoiding you because he knows how you feel about him and is too weak to dissuade you openly.
Oh,
Please, Jane. You must try to understand things from his point of view. He's very sick.
I know that. Why do you think I want to look after him?
Look after him, yes. That would be quite acceptable. But, sister, you cannot make him love you.
Love me? What an idea.
Indeed.
I can hardly believe you're saying this.
I have to say it. It's my duty.
Is it your duty to humiliate me?
Oh, Jane.
To suggest I don't know my own mind?
I know it's painful, my dear, but you must face up to reality. Spending time with him now will only increase the pain you will feel when he goes.
If he goes?
Oh, he will go, Jane. A man as ill as he is wants to be among the people who know and love him best.
I agree.
I know you believe you are one of them. But there are many, many more in Paris. You've seen the volume of letters he gets. So be sure that he will go, Jane. And we must all try not to burden him while he is here.
Burden him with kindness. Oh.
There, there. I know you mean well, but you must try to forget him. Look, why don't we take a few days and go to Kippenross? You know how tranquil Mother's rose garden can be even at this time of year.
What?
Remember all the beautiful autumn leaves? You used to like to paint them, didn't you? And Chopin will hardly be out of his room before his concert. We won't be missing anything.
Well, maybe.
I'm sure I'm right. It'll help you get a little perspective.
Yes.
Good girl. Right. Well, I'd better send a note to tell them to expect us.
Yes, of course. But, Catherine...
Yes?
Are you sure he knows?
Knows what, my dear?
About me.
You must believe me, Jane. He knows how you feel, and he cannot reciprocate. It is not his fault, and you must now let it go. Agreed? Good. Now, come on. Let's change for dinner.
My dearest Franchom, today Daniel and I were in a carriage accident. We are not too badly hurt, but it is the kind of moment that makes one think about life. God has preserved me. But for what? So he can kill me bit by bit instead? Oh, how I wish I were back in Paris. You have your revolutions. I have my Scottish ladies. There is no peace in either place. I hear the revolution has spread into the countryside. I remember so many days there, and nights. Madame Sand and I would go down to the lake. She wrote all night sometimes, and my mind sparkled. My hands were light and fast. I have not written anything new in over a year. I have decided I will go to London immediately after my last concert. Cold or sleet or snow, I will go. It is time. And even if I were less unhappy, there are reports of cholera near Edinburgh. Yes, God continues to preserve me, and yet... My dear friend, I contemplated my last hour with composure. Only the thought of broken arms and legs disconcerted me. To be crippled. To lose my hands. That would be the last straw.
Your shoes, sir?
The black ones, please.
Sounds like a full house out there.
Lady Murray bought 150 in the end. Have you ever seen so many beautiful flowers, Daniel?
Maybe the ladies could take them back to the house.
That's a good idea. Will you suggest it in case I forget? It can't be time already. Tell them I need a few minutes.
Sir? I'm afraid.
Good evening, Daniel.
Good evening, ma'am. Sir...
Miss Sterling. Daniel, perhaps you could just check the...
Of course, sir.
Miss Sterling, Forgive me, please. Go on.
Thank you. I just came by to say how surprised I was to learn you're taking the London train tonight, and to apologise for going off to Kippenroth whilst you were recuperating from your accident.
Oh, really? There is no need.
You must think me a very poor hostess.
Indeed, I do not.
As it happens, I had hoped there would be time for you to see Kippenroth for yourself. It was my childhood home, you see, and it is a source of many happy memories for my sister and I.
And how is Mrs. Erskine? Is she here tonight?
Oh, of course she is. But anyway, as there will not now be time for you to see Kippenroth, I have decided to give you something I brought back from the garden instead. It's just one of the late roses.
Oh. Well...
I know how fond you are of them, and it just looked so lonely. I expect that sounds rather silly.
No, not at all. Thank you. Well, as you know, I am catching a train straight to London, so we'd better...
Frederick, do you really have to go?
Miss Sterling?
I beg of you, please don't leave. You're not strong enough to travel, and there's still so much of my life here I want to share with you. Please, Frederick.
My dear woman, I cannot have this.
Oh, no, I promised my sister I wouldn't say anything, and yet I can't let you leave without acknowledging what we mean to each
Dear
other.
God in heaven. This is most unfortunate, Miss Sterling. Very, very unfortunate.
I know it is improper for me to say these things, Frederick, but I'm at my wit's end.
That makes two of us.
To think you might have left without knowing. This is exactly what I had feared. My sister told me you knew how I felt. But you didn't know, did you? I can see it in your eyes.
For God's sake.
All she wants is for me to remain unattached so she can have someone to play whist with and to keep her company on her silly travels.
Miss Sterling! May I please have a moment's rest?
Of course.
I almost feel as if I could drop down dead. Please! No more. Miss Sterling, I am afraid your sister was right. I have for some time been aware that you might seek from me something more than friendship. And I have been equally remiss in not conveying clearly to you before now that any such development is quite impossible.
Impossible?
I am afraid so.
But why? Well, perhaps
Why?
given time, you would...
Time! Miss Sterling, in my experience, the spark of love makes its presence known in an instant. I have known you 9 years. I do not mean to be cruel.
You are incapable of that.
Then the cruelty must lie in the nature of love.
Impossible.
And in the fact that I have known it before. Don't you see? That is why I am certain there is nothing to be nurtured between us, Miss Sterling. I have known love, and I know I will never feel it for you. Oh, dear God. And now I must address the small matter of a concert. Miss Sterling, please.
You should go, Frederick.
Dear lady, my friendship towards you remains unaltered.
Please don't be late.
Very well. Thank you again for the rose. It would look pretty on my piano tonight,
I'm sure it would.
Good. You know, Miss Sterling, there are many, many people in the world a person can love.
And some they can't.
I had better go.
are you doing out here? It's freezing.
I'm not cold.
Of course you're cold. Look at you, your hands are white. Here, let me rub.
Leave me alone, Catherine.
Then at least take my shawl. There. That's better. Oh, have you taken to solitary prayer?
You're always telling me to read my Bible more.
Oh, I don't disapprove. And what's that in the... Oh, a rose petal. How pretty.
It's from Kip and Ross.
What a lovely idea. But do come inside now. James was just going through the calendar and wondered who you want here for Christmas.
Have whoever you want. I won't be here.
Not here for Christmas?
Most unlikely. I had a reply from Paris this morning.
From...
His illness is worse.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But he says I'm welcome to call next time I'm in town.
Jane, you're not going to help a friend? Go to Paris.
That's where he is, silly.
You know what concerns me.
That's ancient history.
Is it?
I'm surprised you still think about it. I don't.
But Jane...
Chopin and I understand each other completely.
Are you sure?
He's a friend in need. I've done almost as much for a stranger before now. Basic Christian charity.
Staying here would not be unchristian.
But by going, I will be more useful. You see, Catherine, the thing about Chopin is that he's firm enough with people.
How true.
As we speak, Daniel is probably sitting by his bed, keeping him awake with chit-chat about horses. The first thing I'm going to do when I get there, apart from getting him a better doctor, is instill a bit of discipline in his staff. Then I'll see that a piano is moved into his bedroom so that I can play for him. And there'll be fresh flowers every day. Roses and violets, they're our favourites.
In A Rose for Chopin by Lorraine McCann, Chopin was played by Richard Greenwood, Daniel by Michael Percival Maxwell, Jane Stirling by Noreen Layton, Catherine by Vivian Dixon, and Lord Torphichen by Michael Mackenzie. Other parts were played by members of the cast. The pianist was Farley Pavry. The play was produced by David Ian Neville and directed by Lou Kemp.